Hi everyone, I'm here with Megan Pormer,
Hello,
who is
everyone.
on the Megan Pormer Show.
I
She's half
manifested
Iranian.
this moment.
So Megan is half Iranian, half Turkish, and I wanted her to share her views of what's happening in Iran right now. So listen to this story.
So basically what is happening in Iran right now to Mahsa Amini, which is the fact that poor girl was visiting the capital, walking on the street and had a tiny bit of her hair out of her scarf, just the front part.
Yeah.
They grabbed her by the neck, probably hit her on
They
on her
rammed
head.
her head against a police car.
Oh wow.
Right. And what
I didn't
happened
even
was
think
she
it's
collapsed.
it's just too close to home.
And
I
died.
can't even watch
Right.
it. It really destroys me.
Yeah.
And then she dies within a couple of hours only because she had a little bit of her hair
Yeah.
out. And this had happened to me many times, which is the reason why my beloved father sent me to England, where I'm walking on the street, a little bit of my hair is out. They grab me by the neck, they throw me in a van, and before you know it, you can't say anything, because if you protest or you even scream, they hit you.
Yeah, because the entire Iran government, which is completely illegitimate, run by a bunch of theocrats who are evil. These are evil men. They base the entire government on three pillars: death to America, death to Israel, and the hijab, right? And the hijab is that pillar that's collapsing right now.
Correct.
Because there's nothing else that these assholes can do for their country.
So
and that's
what-
why we so support the Iranian people in overthrowing these theocrats.
Thank you. And here, I'm so glad you're making this video, because a lot of my Iranian followers are asking me, why aren't you be our voice? Why aren't you? I lost a father to that country. My father was killed. I had to flee that country.
Yeah.
So to me, it's too close to home, to the point that I have to really distract myself to not want to give up on my life here when I see sad news from Iran. So I'm with you. And I hope I can become a better version of myself so I can really help.
Okay, so if that story intrigued you, now we go to part two, where later that night, I was organizing a women's meetup group, and I invited Megan to come and share in more detail what happened. And here she goes into not just what she experienced being arrested by the morality police, but sadly how her father was murdered by the Iranian regime. So this is a little bit intense, but check it out if you want to really understand what's happening.
What you guys just witnessed on the news is a very normal thing for us growing up. I remember every time I would leave the house, it was a given that there is a good chance that somebody might grab me by the neck and throw me in a van. So I had to always make sure I have enough cash so I can bribe somebody, or my dad is always a phone call away, or I know enough people to call around to get out, always men, obviously. So then it happened to me at least, I remember 5 times, but I don't know how many more times it happened, that I'm walking down the street, I'm covered up, but I had long hair, so a little bit of my hair was out front. And then as you're walking down, somebody grabs you by the neck, and then they throw you in a dark van. And obviously you know the story, so we know that once you're in the van, you may never get out. And then you go in, it's very claustrophobic. I remember that clearly. I remember feeling like someone's strangling me, and my mom was with me, and she was like, there's no way I'm gonna let you get in the van without me. So she comes with me and she holds my hand and she says, do not protest, do not say anything. If you want to stay alive, do not say anything. I'm like, okay. And then they take your mobile phones away. You go to the police station. They try to beat a couple women in the van to make a point that if you protest or if you say something, it's not in your benefit. And in a very strange way, we get accustomed to that. You know what I mean? It's so bizarre, but I gotta say that it took what just happened in Iran right now in the media for me to understand that, oh, this is not normal. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it, but when you're in the abusive environment, it becomes your normal. And so then my mom would call my dad. He had to bribe 10 different people, call police officers that he knew from before to try to get me out. And the last time he tried to get me out, he almost failed. He couldn't get me out. So when he picked me up from the police station, he gave me my passport. It's we're going straight to the airport, and sent me to England, which was the best thing he could have done for me. He sacrificed for me because I told him to leave with me. He didn't. And then a year later, he was killed by the government. But that's a different story. So for women, there are certain limitations. If the hair is out, they'll kill you. For men, if you're successful, if you're not connected to the government, they'll kill you. It's just you have to you're always on eggshells. Your success has to have a limit. Your freedom has to have a limit if you want to survive. And now what's going on in Iran, and I'm really guilty of the fact that I'm doing nothing about it. I'm not raising awareness. I'm not posting on my Instagram, and I'm getting cussed out by all of my followers because it's too close to home. My dad was killed by that government because he wanted to change something, and they killed him before he could change anything. And I got threatened that whoever broke my dad's neck will break my neck. So I'm scared. I'm scared to post on Instagram because I know a lot of Iranians that got stabbed. This is very normal, and it happens to many girls every hour. This one happened that was captured on camera. But it's so sad. Like, even when the words come out of my mouth, I'm just understanding how traumatized I must have been that this was my normal, but it is.
And to think that that regime killed your father for trying to create change. And that's why what's happening in Iran is so important, right? That regime is evil. It is evil in the name of religion. And it's so important that we support the Iranian revolution that's happening right now and get these assholes out of power. Religion should never, ever, ever be in politics. And as what you said, it's not even about religion or morality. It's about money. It's about bribery. They oppress women. So these horrible people called the Basaji, they can earn money.
Those were the guys that killed my dad because he didn't donate to any political campaigns. But what it is, when I moved out, I was hoping for 10 years I'd cut out my entire background out of my life, right? So I was not embracing where I'm from. I was not hanging out with the Persian community because I was like, I'll get killed. I might get killed. But now I'm learning that now that the world is moving towards a direction where we have to heal as a collective psyche if we want to survive, we have to heal. Iran is a big part of this collective psyche. And if they don't heal, there are 80 million people there. We are not gonna heal as a collective psyche. We can try, but there's always gonna be an anchor because there's just oneness consciousness that we cannot argue that, right? As long as over 80 million people are anchored down in trauma and pain, it will always pull us down to a certain level. So like, I feel like at this point, I think people that are not from Iran, non-Iranians, have more power to help them because you guys are at least outside of the hurricane. You're watching.